This is Troy in the Late Bronze Age, around 1200 BC. For centuries, people thought this city was just a myth, a story invented by the Greek poet Homer. But in 1870, a German businessman named Heinrich Schliemann began digging into a hill in northwestern Turkey, and he found it. The legendary city of Troy was real. Using archaeological evidence and historical records, we've reconstructed what this fortress city actually looked like at the height of its power. Before the Trojan War, before its walls fell, when Troy was one of the most important cities in the ancient world. Welcome to Troy. This is the citadel, the fortified heart of the city, rising on a steep hill overlooking the plain below. From here, you can see for miles in every direction. To the northwest, the Dardanelles Strait, the narrow waterway connecting the Aegean Sea to the Sea of Marmara and the Black Sea beyond. This is one of the most strategic locations in the ancient world. Control this strait, and you control trade between Europe and Asia. The citadel walls rise 9 meters high, 30 feet of imposing stone and mud brick. The base is built from massive blocks of cut limestone, carefully fitted together. Each block is rectangular, with joints alternated between courses to maximize strength. The stone portion alone is over 4 meters thick. But what you see is only half the story. Rising above the limestone base is a superstructure of mud brick, painted white and gleaming in the sun. The walls slope inward as they rise, a distinctive feature called battering, making them nearly impossible to scale. This design isn't just functional, it's intimidating. Look closely at the wall's construction. Instead of running in a straight line, the fortifications are built in sections, 7 to 10 meters long, that join at shallow angles, creating a sawtooth pattern. This is unique to Troy. Nowhere else in the Bronze Age world do you see this design. It may be decorative, or it may be structural, but it's distinctly Trojan. Along the walls, rectangular towers project outward, giving defenders a clear view of the plain and the ability to rain arrows down on anyone trying to approach. These aren't just lookout posts, they're fighting positions, designed to create overlapping fields of fire. Inside one of these towers, the northeastern one, there's a massive cistern, water, the lifeblood of any siege. Troy's architects knew that a city under attack needs a reliable water supply. This cistern could sustain the citadel for months. The citadel is accessed through 5 gates, each designed differently. The main gate, the south gate facing the plain, is the most impressive. It's wide enough for 2 chariots to pass side by side, just as Homer described in the Iliad. As you approach, massive stone pillars flank the entrance. These pillars serve no structural purpose. They're too large, too heavy, too precisely placed. Archaeologists believe they're religious symbols. Walking through this gate wasn't just entering a city, it was entering sacred ground. The gate passage is paved with smooth cobblestones, carefully drained to prevent flooding. The stones are worn smooth from centuries of foot traffic, chariot wheels, and the hooves of horses. The walls of the passage overlap, forcing anyone entering to expose themselves to attack from 2 sides. Even if invaders breach the outer defenses, this gate is a killing ground. Inside the citadel, the ground rises in concentric terraces, each level higher than the last. The layout is deliberate. Status increases with altitude. The lower terraces hold the homes of Troy's elite, wealthy merchants, military commanders, royal advisors. The upper terraces belong to the king and his family. The houses here are built in the Megaran style, a rectangular hall with a central hearth and a columned porch. They're 2 or 3 stories tall, with stone foundations and mud brick upper floors. The exteriors are plain, mimicking the fortress walls. No windows on the ground floor, only narrow slits for ventilation. These aren't just homes, they're defensive positions. But inside, opulence, painted walls, woven textiles imported from across the Mediterranean, pottery from Mycenaean Greece, carved ivory from Egypt, lapis lazuli from Afghanistan. Troy is rich, and it shows. At the top of the citadel, on the highest terrace, stands the royal palace. Unfortunately, later building projects in the classical and Roman periods cleared away most of the Bronze Age remains. We can't reconstruct it with certainty, but based on comparable palaces at Mycenae and Tiryns, it would have been massive, a sprawling complex of halls, courtyards, storage rooms, and residential quarters. This is where King Priam, if he existed, would have ruled. This is where the princes of Troy, Hector, Paris, would have lived. This is the seat of power. Beyond the citadel walls, stretching to the south, is the lower town. For years, archaeologists thought Troy was just the citadel, a small fortress, maybe a few hundred people. But in the 1990s, excavations revealed the truth. Troy was huge. The lower town covers 30 hectares, about 75 acres. It's protected by a defensive ditch and a massive wooden palisade, unlike anything else from this era. The palisade is nearly 3 meters wide, reinforced with interior buttresses and wooden beams anchored into the bedrock. It's a feat of engineering. Inside the lower town, life is dense and chaotic. Narrow streets wind between houses, workshops, and storage buildings. The houses are simpler than those in the citadel, 1 or 2 rooms, shared walls, irregular plans. But they're sturdy. People here work with their hands. Blacksmiths hammer bronze into weapons and tools. Potters spin clay into storage jars. Pithoi, tall as a man, used to store grain, oil, and wine. Textile workers spin wool from the sheep that graze on the surrounding plains. Troy's textiles are famous, exported across the Aegean. And everywhere there's trade. Amber from the Baltic, carnelian from India, lapis lazuli from Afghanistan, pottery from Mycenaean Greece and Minoan Crete, bronze ingots from Cyprus. Troy sits at the crossroads of the world. Merchant ships pass through the Dardanelles and Troy takes its cut. This is how a city gets rich. The streets are paved with stone in some places, hard-packed earth in others. Drainage channels run alongside the roads, carrying waste away from the city. The smell, well, it's Bronze Age urban life. Animals, cooking fires, industrial waste from the workshops. It's not pleasant, but it's alive. In the lower town, you'll also find evidence of religious life. Stone stelae, carved monuments, stand in public spaces. Some show human figures, possibly gods or ancestors. Others are plain, marked only with inscriptions in Luwian, the language of the Trojans. We can't read most of them, but they were important enough to carve in stone. Out beyond the lower town, the Trojan plain stretches toward the sea. This land is fertile, rich soil, plenty of water from seasonal streams. The plains are dotted with farms and villages. Most of Troy's population doesn't live in the city. They live out here, working the land, raising sheep and horses especially. The Trojans are famous for their horses. In the Iliad, the Trojan prince Hector is called tamer of horses. Horse bones have been found at Troy in great quantities. These aren't just work animals, they're war animals. Chariots, cavalry, power. When danger comes, and it does repeatedly, the farmers flee to the citadel. The walls protect them. That's the deal. The citadel is a refuge, a fortress, a symbol of Troy's strength. As long as these walls stand, Troy stands. But the walls won't stand forever. Around 1300 BC, Troy 6 is destroyed. Not by war, but by an earthquake. The massive stone walls crack and collapse. The terraces subside. The city is wrecked. But the Trojans rebuild. They always rebuild. Troy 7a rises from the ruins, reusing the old walls, patching the damage with rougher masonry. The houses are more crowded now, packed tighter against the citadel walls. The population has grown, or maybe they're just more afraid. The world is getting dangerous. And then, around 1180 BC, Troy 7a burns. The evidence is clear: fire, destruction, bodies in the rubble. This is a violent end. Was this the Trojan War? We don't know. The archaeology can't tell us who attacked or why, but someone did. And Troy fell. The city that controlled the Dardanelles, that grew rich on trade, that built walls 9 meters high and filled its palace with treasures from across the world, that city is gone. But the legend survives. 3,000 years later, we're still telling the story of Troy. And now we can see it again, not as a myth, but as it really was. A fortress on a hill, a city of stone and ambition, a place where history and legend meet. This was Troy. If you enjoyed this reconstruction of ancient Troy, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss our next video. We're bringing the ancient world back to life, one city at a time. Which ancient city should we reconstruct next? Let us know in the comments below. We'll see you in the past.